This is Mike Mercado from the Sports Cubicle. If you can't catch our show Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Central, you can listen to a podcast of the show on SoundCloud, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting platform by searching for Sports from the Couch. You can also find us on YouTube by typing at The Sports Cubicle. We cover the biggest sports issues of the day around the nation and right here in Chicago. The Sports Cubicle, Sunday nights at 9 p.m. on WCPT 820, where facts matter.
The Sports Cubicle.
But the bottom line is this, that the state of Illinois and the city of Chicago have to do what's best for the taxpayers. And the Chicago Bears need to do what's best for the Chicago Bears. The hope is that they can find something down the middle that is beneficial to not only the Bears organization on and off the field, but also the taxpayer, which is the fan that are filling up those stadiums and buying all that merchandise. That's who they owe it to.
The Sports Cubicle. Sunday nights at 9 on WCPT.
This is Mike Mercado from the Sports Cubicle. If you can't catch our show Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Central, you can listen to a podcast of the show on SoundCloud, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting platform by searching for Sports from the Couch. You can also find us on YouTube by typing at The Sports Cubicle. We cover the biggest sports issues of the day around the nation and right here in Chicago. The Sports Cubicle, Sunday nights at 9 p.m. on WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Welcome to the Oriole Gallery. Reservations are made at the Spit and Cycle Hotel. Thank you for staying at the Oreo Galaxy.
This is Mike Mercado from the Sports Cubicle. If you can't catch our show Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Central, you can listen to a podcast of the show on SoundCloud, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting platform by searching for Sports from the Couch. You can also find us on YouTube by typing at the Sports Cubicle. We cover the biggest sports issues of the day around the nation and right here in Chicago. The Sports Cubicle, Sunday nights at 9 p.m. on WCPT 820, where facts matter.
The Sports Cubicle.
But the bottom line is this, that the state of Illinois and the city of Chicago have to do what's best for the taxpayers. And the Chicago Bears need to do what's best for the Chicago Bears. The hope is that they can find something down the middle that is beneficial to not only the Bears organization on and off the field, but also the taxpayer, which is the fan that are filling up those stadiums and buying all that merchandise. That's who they owe it to.
The Sports Cubicle. Sunday nights at 9 on WCPT.
Once upon a time, in a laboratory not too far from here, away from all the human interaction, a scientist makes a great concoction in his lab of lightning bolts, a quantitative chemistry inside. Agglomerated slurries mixed with great diamond microns is a recipe for a nuclear despair. Your green phenolic powder packed with gum-made dipping inside a big machine-bound plexi screen designed to improve it. I said you can call me metallographic, I like that kind of name. It's just like being eccentrically magnificent the same. From a black and white upbringing to an electron-colored age of alien technology to help us on our way. I've never been. I'm a stranger in another kind of time. But yet this extravagant display of computer gizmos feels the same as a dream I had when I was done. I saw this place in another time. In a galaxy far, far away. Billions of light years away. Just beyond the ice reach.
It's the Paulacious One, coming to you from the file room of the basement of WCPT 820 in Chicago. Checking the file on the Sports Cubicle. The hosts, systems analyst Mike Mercado, project manager Devin Tingle, the marvelous one, Dan Marver in accounting, and me, well, it doesn't matter what I do. You can check us out, the Sports Cubicle, Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Central on WCPT 820 Chicago. Gotta go, Sports Cubicle, 9 p.m. Sundays, WCPT.
Hey, looking for a winning team on a winning station? You found it right here on WCPT 820 AM. Join the marvelous one, Dan Marver, the Paulacious one, Paul Chivari, Sports on the Couches, Mike Mercado, and yours truly, Devin Tingle, every Sunday at 9 p.m. for the Sports Cubicle, where the inmates run the asylum, and the boss, well, they yell at us on Monday morning because we're working overtime. Looking for your late night dose of sports talk radio? We're here. Join us on the Sports Cubicle, Sunday nights at 9 p.m.
This is Mike Mercado from the Sports Cubicle. If you can't catch our show Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Central, you can listen to a podcast of the show on SoundCloud, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting platform by searching for Sports from the Couch. You can also find us on YouTube by typing at The Sports Cubicle. We cover the biggest sports issues of the day around the nation and right here in Chicago. The Sports Cubicle, Sunday nights at 9 p.m. on WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Now tell me this is not the picture perfect kind of thing you'd see on a vintage sign in someone's basement whose nostalgic taste would wish it was 55, with a soda fountain still in perfect use. Jukebox plays the latest hit across the land, where the radio stars are such a sight to see.
Mike Mercado from the Sports Cubicle. If you can't catch our show Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Central, you can listen to a podcast of the show on SoundCloud, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting platform by searching for Sports from the Couch. You can also find us on YouTube by typing at the Sports Cubicle. We cover the biggest sports issues of the day around the nation and right here in Chicago. The Sports Cubicle, Sunday nights at 9 p.m. on WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Hey, looking for a winning team on a winning station? You found it right here on WCPT 820 AM. Join the marvelous one, Dan Marver, the palacious one, Paul Chivari, Sports on the Couches, Mike Mercado, and yours truly, Devin Tingle, every Sunday at 9 p.m. for the Sports Cubicle, where the inmates run the asylum, and the boss, well, they yell at us on Monday morning because we're working overtime. Looking for your late night dose of sports talk radio? We're here. Join us on the Sports Cubicle, Sunday nights at 9 p.m.
Hey, it's the Paulacious One, coming to you from the file room of the basement of WCPT 820 in Chicago. Checking the file on the Sports Cubicle. The hosts, systems analyst Mike Mercado, project manager Devin Tingle, the marvelous one, Dan Marver in accounting, and me, well, it doesn't matter what I do. You can check us out, the Sports Cubicle, Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Central on WCPT 820 Chicago. Gotta go, Sports Cubicle, 9 p.m. Sundays, WCPT.
Here, friends, we have made it. It is Draft Day 2024 here on a special edition of the Sports Cubicle and Sports from the Couch. I'm your host, Mike Mercado, as we are doing an NFL Draft Watch-Along as the Chicago Bears pick number 1 and number 9 in this year's NFL Draft. And it was an exciting time to get here. It's been a crazy few days if you're a Bears fan, if you're an NFL fan. And over the last few weeks, there's been a lot of noise, there's been a lot of talk, but we have finally got to this moment in Detroit. The commissioner will go up and we will see official picks be made, NFL career started, and some of these players will become legends in this sport. Hopefully, if you're a Bears fan, a quarterback will now become a legend for your team, and we are going to give a little bit of time. We are about 8 minutes away from the draft actually starting, so we're going to give some time for people to join us here on YouTube, a live stream of this watch-along. We're on YouTube at The Sports Cubicle. Let me do a quick air check to see how everything sounds great. Oh my goodness, listen to that. We are doing this live with no safety net. So, what do we want to talk about? We are here, right? What is going to happen at number 1? We're going to listen in as the pick is being made official, and we will react to it. We will talk about everything that is going to happen. What does this mean for the future of the Chicago Bears? And I think where we want to start is the beginning, how we got here, and the probability, the improbability of us getting to this moment, how it came from a unneeded, dumb win by the Houston Texans to secure the Bears get a number 1 pick 2 years ago. Shout out to Lovie Smith, deserves a statue outside the new stadium that's going to be built, and we're going to talk about that too. Bears fans, make sure you stick around to the end of our draft conversation at the end of the night. We're going to talk about the Bears stadium and the nonsense, the foolishness that we saw between Kevin Warren and the Chicago Bears, and unfortunately, Brandon Johnson, mayor of Chicago. So we're going to talk about all that a little later on tonight. But needless to say, even putting that to the side, as big of a bummer that was, the Texans winning that last game of the season 2 years ago, not a bummer. The Bears getting the number 1 pick, trading to the Carolina Panthers, getting Darnell Wright, and more importantly, the number 1 pick, what would be the number 1 pick from the Carolina Panthers the next season. The awful Carolina Panthers. And you have now put yourself in a position where you've won 7 games. You have a good defense. And now you have a chance to get a quarterback that has been scouted, that has been touted, that has been declared the number one pick for years now. A Heisman winner with all the pressure in the world, has had all the pressure, has been a professional since he was 13 years old, has fallen on your lap, and have the fortunes turn. Is it finally the luck of the foolish, of the dumb? Has it fallen to the Chicago Bears to get their franchise quarterback? We're going to find that out tonight, and that is how we got to this moment, how we are here. A lot of stuff had to happen. A lot of dominoes had to fall. And one of those dominoes being Justin Fields, who is now with the Pittsburgh Steelers. We were having conversations throughout this time to get us to the draft of who should the Bears keep, what should they do. And as the weeks went on, and days and days and days and moves had been made, we saw that the Bears were planning to have a rookie QB who they believe is going to be a good player. And at this point right now, we are seeing all of it kind of come together to this one moment where on center stage in Detroit, Caleb Williams will become the franchise quarterback for the Chicago Bears. So throughout the entire night, we want to hear your thoughts here on the Sports Cubicle and Sports from the Couch, a very special edition of the Sports Cubicle and Sports from the Couch, as we are having a live watch along to the NFL Draft as we watch along the Bears make selection number 1 and what they will do at number 9. And we are about 5 minutes away from the NFL Draft starting, and I think that's the place where, if you're a Bears fan, everything is about Caleb Williams. And we're going to talk about Caleb Williams when the Bears officially on their clock during the television show that is the NFL Draft. But number 9 is where the draft really starts for the Chicago Bears. And there's been plenty of mock drafts. Look at it. If we just go to Twitter right now and see latest mock drafts, you have everything from Roman Odunze to trading down for the Chicago Bears. And I think those are the two likely scenarios if you're the Bears, is somebody fell to you. There was a big rush at quarterback, and you're able now to select a really highly scouted, talented player. And if that is one of these wide receivers, whether it's Malik Neighbors, Roman Odunze, whether it is Joe Alt, whoever it may be, the Bears, if the luck continues on their side and a bunch of quarterbacks go early, the Bears find themselves with a chance to really putting a lot of talents around Caleb Williams. And that's what's been the story of this offseason. From last season, bringing in DJ Moore to help Justin Fields in the evaluation, but knowing full well you were going to draft a quarterback the next year. DJ Moore is on your team. Keenan Allen is now a member of the Chicago Bears. A huge blockbuster trade with the LA Chargers has now become a member of your squad. Is going to be in that wide receiver room. Is going to help bring along a rookie quarterback. And Gerald Everett, a veteran tight end, along with Cole Kmet, the ultimate blanket for a rookie QB, for any QB at that matter. And a three-headed, awesome running back room with DeAndre Swift, with a Khalil Herbert, and a Roshan Johnson. Like, that is a nice running back room. You have to take care of the center position and left tackle. They might do that today and throughout the rest of the weekend in the NFL Draft. That defense is the window. That's where you knew this is all developing around a young quarterback. When you give deals to Jalen Johnson and to Montez Sweat, when you're solidifying that defense, a top 5 defense, that is the window you're trying to win. And that window just coincides with a rookie deal. So I feel like it has all been building up to this one moment. So we want to know your thoughts. Make sure you're following us on Twitter at Mike M Media, or I guess the app known as X now at Mike M Media. We're on Instagram at Mike Mercado Media. Of course, subscribe to us here on YouTube. Thank you for joining us if you're watching us live on YouTube for this NFL Draft watch along. Subscribe to us at The Sports Cubicle. And we are going to be watching this on ESPN. So no spoilers. If you're in the chat, no spoilers. We all know delays. People press pause, whatever. We want people to have that genuine moment of seeing who gets picked. But it is big time here as we get to see the future of the NFL coming together. But a wonderful, a fun night, the NFL Draft. And I want to thank you guys all for making us a part of your NFL draft night. So thank you. We're going to have a lot of fun here tonight. And we want to make sure you're tuning in, you're listening, you're having a good time. And we'll, later on, throughout the boring parts, if I need to, use the washroom, get a drink, if you need to, make sure we can coincide all this. I have some fun videos that we're going to play a little later. Our interview with Robbie Gould. So that'll be on docket, as well as our interview with economic professor Andrew Zimbalist, who talked to us about the truth of what building stadiums actually does to a city. So with all the news of the ridiculousness that's going on with the Chicago Bears, Kevin Warren, and their want for a new stadium and everything that's going on with Jerry Reinsdorf here locally in Chicago, that might be something you might be interested in. So stay tuned to that throughout the entire night. This Thursday night, it is April 25th, 2024, here on the Sports Cubicle and Sports from the Couch. I'm your host, Mike Mercado, as we are watching along to the NFL Draft. The Chicago Bears pick number 1 and number 9, and we will see. We are about in, if you're looking for a sync count up, I am at 50 seconds away from the NFL Draft. Caleb Williams in a nice, beautiful suit, getting ready to be picked number 1, and we are 40 seconds away from the NFL Draft. The NFL is about to change if the Chicago Bears have got their guy, and there is a chance, this is what I've been saying to everybody, there's a great chance it doesn't work out for the Chicago Bears in this pick, because it's the NFL. The NFL is going to NFL. But if they're going to get it wrong, make the right choice, the wrong choice, the right one right now. If that makes sense. This is the right choice. It may be wrong long term, but don't mess it up before you even make the pick. Go up there, select Caleb Williams, quarterback from USC, and let's get this draft going. Because the draft really should start at number 2. And I want to know your thoughts. Make sure you roll them in on social media and, of course, here on the chats, wherever you're watching it. Let us know, where do you guys think is the order of the quarterbacks going to be? Is it going to be Jaden Daniels 2, Drake May 3? Is it going to be J.J. McCarthy 4? Is it going to be McCarthy 2? Is it going to be Daniels 4? Is it going to be May 2? What's going to happen? Let us know. But it is draft time, my friends, and let us do a quick check-in so you guys can hear. Let us know if you can hear this. I'm going to put this up right now. Let me know if you guys can hear this. We're not going to be listening to the entire broadcast of the draft. We're going to talk over it when we do have it up until they make their pick. So let me know if you guys can hear this. 1 second. I'm going to do a quick air check right here myself. Let's see. And I don't want to keep... I'm going to go and put it in mute right now. That should have been enough time to be able to hear it out. So give me 1 second. Give me 1 second, my friends. Yeah. Okay, cool. So we can hear all that. That sounds good. And shout out to Nikos. What's up, my guy, for being in the YouTube chat. Appreciate you. Hopefully you're having a wonderful Thursday. And thank you to each and every one of you guys who is joining us here tonight. Ooh, look at my hair. Look at this. Your boy doesn't have any product in it, and all those curls are just trying to get out. So I can't imagine these 19-year-olds, these 20-year-olds, these 21-year-olds, being so, amazing and having such strict diets and workout regimens, and also just being, keen eye for fashion, on top of being, wonderful, great athletes. It's pretty funny. It's pretty crazy. All right, here we go. See if the commissioner's coming up. So they are going to commercial, it looks like. So... I also have some stuff throughout the draft that we want to hit on, and I will bring it up right now to run it by you guys to see what we want to talk about. And I think a lot of this stuff will go post-pick of Caleb Williams, but one of the things I want to hit on as we are watching this draft, as we watch the selection be made, is my main concern still, and that is the coaching staff. Look, at the Bears did a lot of stuff. Ryan Poles has done a lot of good in building this Bears offense, building this Bears team. But I think bringing in Shane Waldron, okay, talk to people in not Kool-Aid. This is I have to stop drinking stuff with sugar in it. So this is let me see, I'm not Burt Kreischer. This is a Body Armor Flash IV. Shout outs. Bobby, I'm assuming that's you in the chat. Shout outs. Thank you for joining us in this draft, but this watch along. Please, guys, it's going to be a fun, easy night. Grab your cold beverage, eat some food, put on the draft on the big TV, and listen to a bunch of dummies as we just enjoy a big moment in Bears history. But it being a big moment in Bears history, it worries me is that you kept Matt Eberflus. If you ever had a chance to start a fresh, right, and bring in a different head coach, bring in a different philosophy, try to get everything aligned, the quarterback aligned, your offensive coordinator aligned, your head coach aligned, and it is such a Bears thing for that not to be the case. And you're seeing it just in such big ways with what's going on with the stadium, but for them, we always should see it coming, right? But for them to keep Matt Eberflus as a lame duck coach, that it needs to work out for him, that all the pressure is on him having a top 5 defense, but bringing in the star quarterback and keeping your defensive head coach, like that is such a Bears thing to do. But it all comes down to Shane Waldron. And that is my question to you. Do you trust Shane Waldron to be the one who is going to develop and lead Caleb Williams? And I understand there's a lot of people who trust him after seeing what he did with Geno Smith. And this is something to keep in mind with Jackson Smith and Jigba, with a Tyler Lockett and a DK Metcalf in Seattle. Even with the struggling Geno Smith comparative to the good season he had a year ago, they got the ball to different receivers, to a lot of the different guys in that team. So Shane Waldron might call a great game where you could get it to Keenan Allen, to DJ Moore, to Gerald Everett, to Cole Kmet, if they draft a wide receiver in the first round. And that's huge. That's huge to be able to count on that on offense. So, yeah, interesting stuff. Let us know. What do you guys think they're going to do at number 9? There is a lot of talk about them trading down, maybe 2 picks to number 11. I could see them wanting to do that if they want to add like a 3rd-round pick, if they're lucky, a 2nd-round pick. But let's do a quick check.
Unique and local open.
Mike Greenberg talking a beautiful setup in Detroit. Wow, a beautiful, beautiful setup. Shout out to the NFL, just like the WWE, the NFL, a lot of these the top dogs in the yard when it comes to entertainment and sports, put on such a great product. They do such great branding. They do such great atmosphere, and everything feels big. If you are trying to do a sync up, it just hit the point where we are seeing the commissioner do his opening monologue. Here he is right here.
Come on, Roger. You okay, Commish?
Barry Sanders, shout out. So,
What's it on your sweater?
Interesting that the NFL and all the moves that have been going on in the business side of it have really hunkered down in the idea of like, okay, dome stadiums in major markets, touristy, world-class cities will more often than not host a Super Bowl along with warm climate cities. And then everybody else might get a Super Bowl, like Minnesota might get a Super Bowl, but they'll get the one. Everything else will be the NFL draft. The NFL draft is the rotating circus for the NFL right now, and I think that that's a big thing. I think that's for the NFL, that there is something to being able to get every fan base involved, because it's important to engage every fan base. Shout out Eminem. Wow. They got Marshall. We better not put that up, otherwise YouTube will flag us for that. Here we go. Trade up. Look, I think trading up would be ideal if you're able to make it work in some weird way and you're able to get Marvin Harrison, right? Like, I get it. I understand. I think the situation the Bears is as lucky as they've been, and as sweet as everything seems to be right now, quick air check, that they need a form of draft picks. They need draft picks to replenish this team, if they're going to try to pay out a lot of the guys on the defense, if they're going to restructure Keenan Allen's deal, if they're going to take care of these dudes, right? They're going to need to draft guys. And I think if you're trading up, you're trading away more assets. And I think right now Ryan Poles is not doing it. I think Ryan Poles is going to want to draft as many guys as he can, especially up this way.
How you like that?
So here we go. Roger Goodell, Eminem on the stage. And it has begun, my friends. We are here for the NFL Draft. Thank you so much for joining us here on a watch-along, a live watch-along for the 2024 NFL Draft as we watch to see the Chicago Bears pick number 1 and number 9. Will Caleb Williams be the franchise quarterback for the Chicago Bears? Only time will tell. But we are only a few moments away from Caleb Williams being the number 1 overall pick. This is going to be really, really big moment, really cool moments. And, you know, what upsets me, and this will be the last time we bring it up right now, is I hate that the Bears ownership did the stuff with the stadium yesterday, because this huge moment right now is going to overshadow that. Rightfully so, because this is a huge moment. This should be the moment about these kids, the organization on the field, making the right step, the fan base having a payoff for a lot of bad football. But of course, this organization can't get out of their own way. So, you know, it's a bummer that that happened, but a cool moment right now is we're seeing Detroit legends, Detroit greats up there on stage, and in just a few moments, the Chicago Bears will be on the clock. Let's listen to a newly signed, a new contract. A lot of new years for Amon-Ra St. Brown. Yeah, shout out to them. Detroit's going to be nasty if the Bears and the Lions are, yeah, that could be good. Check a look this for a second.
What's up, Detroit?
So,
let's go, baby!
There's Jared Goff. You know, it'll be something, right, if the Detroit Lions are that team that makes that run the following season after a playoff disappointment or a playoff loss or not getting to the Super Bowl. You know, like that. There's always that in the NBA, that's more specifically, but you talk about vibes. Here's the legend Barry Sanders just coming up to the podium if you are looking for a sync. There is that. Like, I think that's really cool that Detroit might be that team that just got so close and lost and now are ready to be Super Bowl champions. That Megatron, oh my goodness, that I bet you that, I'm not even going to call him a man, that Greek god could still ball out today. Here we go. Let's listen to Roger.
Teams right down here, and of course all the Detroit faithful in the back. Welcome to all of you, and most
even got some coffee to get us through the night because your boy has to be up
awesome.
every Monday through Friday at 4 a.m. to be at WCPT 8:50 a.m. and WSBC 12:40 a.m. Monday through Friday at 5 a.m. But I wouldn't be anywhere else in the world other than with my wife. Shout out to my lovely wife, Nicole Mancha. I love you. I wouldn't be anywhere else than with you guys on an NFL Draft Thursday.
The Chicago Bears are now on the clock.
Shout out to Cuzzo, Luis Rodriguez, and the Chicago Bears are on the clock. We will wait. We will jump in for analysis in a second. Bears better win the Super Bowl this year with their picks. I mean, look, crazier things have happened, but there is a, let's listen to this and I'll get to that in a second because there is pressure coming up in this pick. Let's listen in to see what the group has to say over about this pick.
Never have a quarterback with 4,000 passing yards in a season. They got to this place because of a trade they engineered a year ago leading into the draft. A trade that led Bryce Young.
This is what we were talking about, how we got here to this moment. Big time moment.
A terrific young offensive lineman in Darnell Wright, whom they drafted a year ago, and the pass catcher DJ Moore.
Shout out to all you guys on the chat listening to us on Twitter, of course, Facebook, and right here on YouTube. Thank you guys. Please make sure you grab yourself a chocolate milk, a cold beverage, a wonderful piece of pizza, and join us as we watch the future of the NFL get selected tonight.
To the city, their team, their organization on the offense, the Bears have been doing the same with Caleb Williams
getting him ready to become the new face of the franchise, the next quarterback of the Chicago Bears. Words that the Bears fans have been waiting essentially a century to hear. Mel,
So let's talk about that, expectations. And the joke of, well, they better with the way ticket prices are, jersey prices are, this new stadium that they want the taxpayers to pay. Again, we'll talk about it later. When you're bringing in somebody with that much talent surrounding him, this isn't a guy coming into a team that won 2 games like Carolina. This is a team that was in a lot of games, that won games without their starting quarterback, that left wins on the field, and still managed to get 7 wins. Still managed to be in the hunt, as much as we love that in the NFL season. And now they're getting a guy who, it's not just a flash in the pan. This isn't a guy that just came out of nowhere. You know when there's can't miss dudes? Bears fans. You know when there's drafts where the Bears have a high pick, and you're like, man, why can't there be that guy that they've been talking about for 3 years, and since he was 7 years old, he had the hand size of grown men? That's this guy. That's Caleb Williams. Bears fans being the fan base that's getting the attitude, the way that this young man carries himself and his vibe and the baller attitude and him knowing that he's the guy. It's funny to see how the two are going to mix. But I think they're going to mix wonderfully because I think he's going to deliver. And he has to. Because if he doesn't, the way rookie quarterback contracts are set up, they'll move on for him. And they just won't move on from him. Everybody who's in that front office and coaching staff will be gone. But there is going to be expectations. And it goes back to, is it Matt Eberflus and Shane Waldron, the people you entrust to develop and maintain, grow, and win with this can't-miss prospect? That is all the pressure on them. Why don't we check in really fast on ESPN?
Bryce Young, they certainly deserve to be the number 1 pick overall today. We expect Daniels to go number 2. We'll worry about that when we get there. Let's start with the decision the Bears are making here. Booger, are they getting it right?
Yeah, Green, I think they're absolutely getting it right. I think from a ceiling standpoint, Caleb Williams has the highest ceiling of any quarterback in this draft. And it's
So that's the other thing, too, is the Justin Fields, Caleb Williams conversation. I wasn't enjoying having that conversation because it was people were talking about how great a prospect Caleb Williams is and was by downing and crapping on Justin Fields. Justin Fields is still going to be a heck of a quarterback in the NFL, and he's going to start for a long time. But if Justin Fields and Caleb Williams were in the draft at the same time, Caleb Williams is still getting selected ahead of him. I'd even say Caleb Williams is getting selected over Trevor Lawrence. I would say that Joe Burrow gets selected over Caleb Williams. And we're talking about the prospect, not what we know now, obviously, of how great they worked out, because you would select Josh Allen and Justin Herbert and all these dudes. But I'm talking number 1 picks. Caleb Williams, there's only a select few guys that have been not only so just highly scouted, but like so undeniably the number 1 pick. So there's definitely a lot going on and a lot of pressure, but they have to deliver. You're right. And it's the NFL. It's not for long. There's a reason for it. You better deliver fast. And here we go, Lewis on the chat. And of course, everybody, please join in on the chat. Let us know your conversation. We're going to have a fun time watching the Bears select 1 and 9 as we are here on a very special edition of the Sports Cubicle and Sports from the Couch, a watch along of the NFL draft as we watch along the Bears make their selection. A quick time sync. I am at 4 minutes and 36 seconds, 35 seconds, 34 seconds. And let's take a look at the YouTube chat. Shout out to Lewis. I have a bad stigma when it comes to Bears QBs. We demolished all our so-called QB prospects and ran them to the ground. And that is true, too. If you're looking for an optimistic view, and it's only a small one, is how much this guy is touted as the guy. You know, if the Bears weren't selecting number 1, if the Bears were selecting number 2 or 3, as Bears fans, any Bears fan, as NFL fans, we would all be thinking how bad the Bears would want the number 1 pick. That is where we're at. And the pick is in. If you were looking at the graphic, we are getting so close. And really fast, let's look at one more comment from Lewis. Fields was effing great, just didn't have the weapon he needed to shine, and our O-line is bad. Well, he had the weapons that last year. He just got hurt for those 4 games. Justin's biggest enemy at the later part of his tenure with the Bears was Justin. To start was Matt Nagy. When they throw him out there and he gets sacked like 9 times against Myles Garrett and the Cleveland Browns. He was set up for failure there. And then the very next year, they're tanking. So the Bears have always done Justin Fields dirty. The year he had a chance to prove it, he didn't do everything he could. And everybody knows how much I love Justin and how I think he's going to be awesome with Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers. But that was a big thing for them. And we are watching the celebration. The Bears are going to make their pick. It is going to be Caleb Williams. Let's check right in. A huge moment in Chicago Bears history, in Chicago football history, in Chicago Bears fandom history. The odds say it will not work out because the NFL is hard, and it is hard to make it and to be a superstar. But if it's going to ever happen, if the moment is coming for Chicago Bears fans, it is right now. It is this prospect. It is this type of dude that can come into this city for this organization to win. Let us go to the commissioner.
With the first pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select Caleb Williams, quarterback, Southern California.
There it is. The Chicago Bears have their new franchise quarterback, former Heisman Trophy winner, former USC Trojan, and now starting quarterback for the Chicago Bears, Caleb Williams. It has happened. It is here. And the conversation, the draft can start, and the conversations can begin. This young man has a lot of pressure on him. But if there's anybody that fits the bill, that has the attitude, that has the swag, that has everything on the foundation to live up to the hype, to be that dude, to be him for the Chicago Bears, it is Caleb Williams, and all the nonsense is out the window. For months, I made a big deal to let you all know that all the noise is just that. Because once football starts, football starts. Everything was noise about his dad. Does he want to play for Washington? Does he want part ownership? At the end of the day, this is a football player who was going to be the #1 pick and is now playing for a charter franchise and has the chance to be the guy in the sport. If he can lead this team to constant winning, if he can lead this team to title contention, if he could play his part, and the organization, whether he has to drag him or not, can live up to their part, things can change in the NFL. This is a sleeping giant. The Chicago Bears fan base is hungry for a winner. Was all in on Justin Fields. And you can feel it coming. That it was just there. And it feels like the Bears might have finally reached that moment. We are at this point looking at a monumental fork in the road for the Chicago Bears. Will it work out? Will the sleeping giants wake up? Will a team become title contenders, become a threat, become respected, and become a revenue-generating juggernaut? That is what's at stake right now for the Chicago Bears if this plays out. Let's listen to the new starting quarterback for the Chicago Bears, Caleb Williams. It is official.
It took a lot of sacrifice, love, care for winning the game of football, my teammates, my coaches, and my family.
You won a Heisman Trophy. You're the #1 pick in the NFL draft. What is your next goal as a member of the Chicago Bears?
Learn all my teammates' names, their families, learn the playbook, and get ready to go win games.
All right, congratulations, Caleb.
Thank you.
And that's it, right? And look at this graphic. Bears first-round QBs last 8 years. #2 overall, Mitchell Trubisky. 11 overall, Justin Fields. And now Caleb Williams. That ghost of Christmas past, that sin that will never be forgiven, is that Mitchell Trubisky pick. They didn't talk to Deshaun Watson. That's Ryan. now they're trying to make up for what that did. That took their franchise 10 years backwards and everything after that. And now it has come to the moment is, did it get right? Have the sins finally been forgiven? And does it fall on the shoulders of Caleb Williams? So now the draft really begins. I think this is going to be Jaden Daniels. So we'll see if that works out this way. It could be Drake May. But this is where the draft actually begins with the Washington Commanders at number 2. Take a look at the chat. This is from The Real Monk. Shout out, Bobby. Hate him or love him, he's our guy. Yeah, and that's the thing too, right? Like, if you're worried about a flamboyant dude, like Dennis Rodman handled his business here in Chicago. There's been plenty of dudes in Chicago, like Jaquan Brisker, who have wore Miles Morales full Spider-Man suits going into a game. Like, if you win, this city will adopt you as its own son or daughter, depending on the sport. Just be a winner and bring championships. Luis Rodriguez, what jerseys did he pick? I think he's going to pick number 13, but it's between him and Keenan Allen. And, you know, I think if you're the Bears, you probably give it to your franchise quarterback, but Keenan Allen might be a Hall of Famer. So, yeah, I can see it going either way, and I'm grilling outside. Listen, friends, summer's coming in Chicago. There's been a lot of rain, and it was really cold this morning and yesterday here locally. But for everybody, when the draft is here, baseball is going on, NBA and NHL playoffs are going on, you know spring and summer are here. But we are going to see who the pick is coming up in Washington. I think it has to be Jaden Daniels.
This kid balanced being aggressive with not turning it over. On being aggressive, running the ball aggressively, throwing it aggressively, guys, and he did not turn it over. Alabama.
I hope they don't do me wrong like my White Sox. Look at.
He didn't have an answer.
Jerry Reinsdorf, not only having a bad baseball team, but he's part of this nonsense that's going on with the stadium talk. So, yeah. How about you win your 4th game of the season before you ask for money? Jerry? But you know what? That milkshake looks delicious, so at least they got that going for them. Unbelievable. What do you guys think? Who's going? Is it Jaden Daniels? Is it Drake May? Is it J.J. McCarthy? Who is it? I think it's Jaden Daniels. He's going to be a Commander. I think so. I think that's where he's going to be. And thank you guys so much. Thank you for joining us here on a watch-along. I'm your host, Mike Mercado, here on the Sports Cubicle and Sports from the Couch, as we are doing a live watch-along to the NFL Draft as we are watching the Chicago Bears make their selection. They just picked Caleb Williams at number 1. And you know what that means? Guys, actually, let's do this. It is time. Hold on, let's make it official. Oh, Chicago Bears select QB Caleb Williams with the number 1 overall pick. And yeah, a huge moment, a great moment, and he's going to be making the rounds. I cannot wait to hear what he has to say as he does his interviews, and he will be all over doing the thing big time. Why don't we take a listen, jump into the draft. Let's see who the selection is.
In the 2024 NFL Draft, the Washington Commanders select Jaden Daniels.
There it is. Jaden Daniels, number 2. Jaden Daniels is going to be good. He has that weird elbow, but we'll talk. Look, if you don't know what I'm talking about, look up pictures of Jaden Daniels' elbow. So back-to-back Heisman Trophy winners go in the NFL Draft. Caleb Williams, number 1. Now Jaden Daniels, number 2 for the Washington Commanders. New England is now on deck. They're on the clock, but so, for Bears fans, for anybody in general, but for Bears fans specifically here, as we're watching what the Bears are going to do, if you're a Bears fan, what you really want right now, what you're really hoping for, is that 2 more quarterbacks go. That Drake May is number 3 to New England, and that Arizona trades down. Because then, if that's the case, anything is possible. Do I think Arizona is going to trade down? No. I think Arizona, it's too tempting. And Marvin Harrison Jr. is just too talented to move on from. So I think that it's going to go Drake May, number 3 to New England. And the commissioner hug has happened. And that Arizona is going to stay at number 4. But let me know what you guys think. Yeah. Jerry doesn't come out enough to get into fisticuffs with people. And yep. But let us know what you guys think of this huge moment. Let's listen in.
You're up now in terms of build that relationship with him.
Big time moment here.
Adam Peters, make sure you get him weapons.
Some young, awesome talent too. Like, I feel obviously even if these guys don't become like the superstars, I feel like there's really just talented, top tier professional quarterbacks in this draft. Like, they may not be Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, anything, but they're going to be starters. I think the Bears found themselves a guy who's going to be a top 15 quarterback in the NFL for years to come. Whether you could become a top 5 guy, that's when you start winning Super Bowls, my friend. That's when you start winning Super Bowls.
LSU used artificial intelligence to help him. The process, he's an elite.
I didn't think we'd bring up artificial intelligence.
To process information, to deliver the football. We hadn't even got to that.
Hope you guys are all having a great night. And now New England is on the clock, so we'll see how that plays out for them. So I think one of the things I want to do as we are watching this draft is at some point later on, I want to talk and I want to bring up the interview I did with Andrew Zimbalist, who is an economic professor, and he talks about the truth of what it is to build these stadiums and its actual impact to the state, the city itself. Because if you're not aware, here in Chicago, the renderings have been put up and the pitch has been made by the Chicago Bears and Kevin Warren, who's leading the Bears now, the new guy in charge, with the mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, about a plan to stay in the lakefront, to stay at where they're currently at by the museum. And it was something. It sure was something, but this isn't the only stadium being built, right? Like, you're hearing on the news that's going on with the Kansas City Chiefs and their stadium. And there's a brand new stadium going on in Tennessee. So this is something going on in a lot of cities, that they're building stadiums. And if you're watching the draft right now, it's the truth of the matter, right? That you want your team to be successful so that these cathedrals can be built and it's exciting and you can be proud of it. But somebody's got to fit the bill. And I think that's something we want to talk about. So I'm going to bring that up in a little while, and we'll listen to bits and pieces of it as the draft goes on. We'll just listen to see what goes on, what the vibes are. But the pick is in from New England, so we'll see. I do think this is going to be Drake May right here. I do think this is going to be Drake May. The real the big thing is going to be if Arizona decides to go with Marvin Harrison or they trade down. Let's hope he doesn't get that Aaron Rodgers injury in 3 minutes of playtime. Yeah, knock on wood. But that was crazy, right? But it's the NFL, right? Anything can happen. Okay, let's see what we're getting here. It looks like they're going to make the pick. So we'll see if that stays to it. College football is way different than the NFL. It reminds me of that one QB from Texas Longhorns. It just didn't work out for him. If you're talking about either Colt McCoy or Vince Young, yeah, college and the NFL is totally different. The difference between, let's say, college football now to 10, 15 years ago is just how much more professionally ran these college organizations and their organizations now are ran, and how prepared these quarterbacks, if they're ever going to be prepared to do it at that age, it's in this time period of the NFL. You know what I mean? So here he is. Roger Goodell, the commissioner's coming in. The pick is in, the number 3 pick for the New England Patriots. Caleb Williams, number 1 to the Bears. Jaden Daniels, number 2. Who will go number 3?
Pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the New England Patriots select Drake May.
There it is. Drake May to the New England Patriots. So the Patriots moving on from Mac Jones and now going to Drake May. These 3 dudes, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, and Drake May, super talented. All 3, I think, are going to be super talented professional quarterbacks in the NFL. It's going to be interesting to see this with the new head coaching staff in New England, how it's going to play out for Drake, how it's going to play out for May, how he's going to develop. I think he's the one that's the most raw right now. I think the one with the most even floor is, maybe even the most steady ceiling is Jaden Daniels. I think the one with the most potential is Caleb Williams. And then the most raw one that has the most untapped potential is Drake May. And that's where you're at with these three. And it's interesting to see the dynamics of the three teams that have made the picks, right? Like, it's what we've been talking about from the beginning. Chicago Bears and their expectations completely different than what Washington and what New England have. They were there because they were bad. Those are two bad teams. The Bears were there because of a pick that they acquired from a trade they made last year. And that's what their quarterback is going into. Caleb Williams is going into a team that won 7 games, that has a top 5 defense, that has DJ Moore and Keenan Allen and DeAndre Swift and Khalil Herbert and Roshan Johnson. What the Bears need to do is take care of Caleb Williams with offensive line help. Now, if at number 9, Rome Odunze is there, I think you have to pick him. I think if Malik Neighbors is there, you have to pick him. But if Joe Alt is there, that's who you have to pick. I think a left tackle or a center is huge for the Bears. I saw a funny meme of Joe Burrow throwing a ball to Jamar Chase, but it has then a Penei Sewell as his lineman, and the ball is getting to Jamar Chase. Then underneath it is just some guy, T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, and it's Joe Burrow getting sacked. So I get the idea of like, okay, it's nice to have a great quarterback with a wide receiver with untapped, with amazing unknown potential and can do whatever he wants with athleticism. But if your quarterback is constantly getting sacked and hurt, what difference does it make? So the Bears do need to get offensive line help. But at number 9, is it just too tempting to not grab one of those wide receivers if they're there? Oh, shout out. Hello, baby Otto. What's up, my little guy? Shout out to my nephew Otto. Shout out to Mello. Shout out to Lewis. Shout out Kelsey. Shout out all you guys to the Rodriguez household. Thank you guys for supporting us. Thank you each and every one of you who's joining us on a watch-along, a live watch-along of the Bears making their selection in the NFL draft. Also, shout out to my family, the one and only Bobby Monk. You are amazing, my guy. Nikos, if you're still in the chat, shout out to you for joining us. Shout out to each and every one of you guys joining us here as we watch along, as we're watching teams make their picks and try to change their future fortunes. Is Arizona going to make a trade? That's what I'm waiting to hear. This is where the draft. Let's see what Shefty has to say.
At number 4, and 20 years and 1 day ago, they drafted a wide receiver who turned out to be a Hall of Fame receiver in Larry Fitzgerald.
Was it that really that long ago? Was Fitz that long ago? Man. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. That does not make me happy. Time just flew by, huh? So Marvin Harrison's going to go 4. Okay. So yeah, there it is. There, if he's going to go 4, then
draft capital at the picks to improve.
Okay, so if he goes 4, what does that mean? The Chargers are up. And then the Giants. So the Giants might be in on Bo Nix, Michael PENIX, or J.J. McCarthy. So what does that mean? Are the Chargers going to go Joe Alt? Are they going to go defense? Are they going to trade down? I don't know. We'll find out. There's Malik Neighbors. I think Malik Neighbors. What if Malik Neighbors? I see, that's what I'm saying. We know it's Marvin Harrison, but if it was Malik Neighbors, that would be crazy.
Anyway, Marvin Harrison.
We will see if the first wide receiver is off the board. Here we go.
With the 4th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Marvin Harrison Jr.
There it is.
Wide receiver,
Marvin Harrison
Ohio State.
Jr. going to the Arizona Cardinals. Great pick. Great pick. Yeah. I mean, that he's going to be special. Like, I definitely think Marvin Harrison's going to be really good. He's going to be a problem in the NFL. You know, for some reason, I have this image in my head that he's a lot bigger. Man, these dudes are all huge, but that, he's 6'3", 209. For some reason, I thought he was a tight end in a wide receiver's body. You know what I mean? But he's gonna be a problem the bigger he gets.
Marvin Harrison Jr.
Listen to
210. Marvin Harrison ran 4.33. Marvin Harrison Jr. not that fast. Marvin Harrison Sr. 19th pick overall, 96 here. Marvin Harrison Jr. the 4th pick overall. You see the body control, the ability to adjust and be a power forward in the red zone. He had 29 receptions against press coverage the last 2 years, most in FB.
So we are getting to pick number 5, the Chargers on the clock, and quick recap of the Bears going number 1 with Caleb Williams. And yeah, if you are just joining us, we are going to be doing a live watch along for the Bears selection of these picks. So currently the Bears selected QB Caleb Williams, number 1, making it official, the worst kept secret in the NFL. But what are they going to do at number 9? And now we have seen Jaden Daniels go number 2. We have seen Drake May go number 3. And now we have seen Marvin Harrison go 4. What will happen here? And I think the Chargers are a great candidate to trade down with now new head coach Jim Harbaugh, the new head coach of the LA Chargers. Speaking of Chargers and quarterbacks, I love their quarterback, Justin Herbert. He's a problem. Oh, look at this. Like father, like son, huh? His daddy was a problem too. Marvin Harrison, for all you kids, go on YouTube. He was a big problem. Yeah, Caleb Williams is, I'm checking right now, looking on social media, going to, as we are doing this, let's listen in a little bit to the scouting report for Marvin Harrison. I'm going to go on the socials, and we're going to listen to some reactions to Caleb Williams. Let us see if I can find some quotes from the front office.
You think those conversations at the dinner table didn't rub off? All those conversations out on the playground? And that's not the only thing, Greeny. Understand
already the Chicago Bears with a hype video out. So listening to Ian Rappaport, apparently the Patriots had big time offers for trade. They decided to stick and make a pick. So that was, we were all talking about if there was a trade going to happen. There is a trade going to happen. We just don't know where it's at yet. But very chalky if you are guessing these picks. So let's see. Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Trey McBride. Yeah, that's going to be a problem for the West Coast. Let's take a look. Seeing if, let's go ahead and put this down for a little bit as we are looking for some tweets, seeing any Chicago Bears beat reporters. And I'm going to do a search right here to see. I would love to see first reaction from Bears beat reporters. They're probably going to be a little bit waiting for. All right, here we go. 22 minutes ago, the Chicago Bulls. Welcome to Chicago, Caleb Williams. A message to the newest Chicago Bears QB. So you know what I'm going to do really fast? I'm going to go on Twitter. And I'm going to see if I can pull up this audio for you guys so we can listen to it really fast. Pull it up for you beautiful people. So this is DeMar DeRozan welcoming Caleb Williams, the new Chicago Bear.
On behalf of Chicago and the Bulls, we want to welcome Caleb to the family, to the city. We're going to do big things and fight on.
That was, here it is again.
And the Bulls, we want to welcome Caleb to the family, to the city. We're going to do big things and fight on.
That was DeMar DeRozan bringing some love, showing some love to Caleb Williams. And yeah, looking at some of these pictures, it looks like they, Fox Sports, if you're wondering what jersey Caleb Williams is going to wear, they have him rendered at a 13, but Keenan Allen has a 1 and something, so I don't know what number that's going to be. Let's listen to see if we can. Here's the video check it out, for the Chicago Bears. Never fear, Superman is here. So there is definitely some hype. All right, let's see. All right, here's a video from the NFL Twitter. Let me take a listen to what's going on here in the draft as they're in a commercial right now. Okay, perfect timing. This is a video that just dropped from the NFL X account. Let's listen to it really fast. This is Chicago Bears already embracing their number 1 pick.
Everything started pointing towards Jaden Daniels and finding someone who could be a big-time playmaker right now, not requiring.
And he is taking a selfie saying "Go Bears," so he is already embracing that. A big moment. Why don't we listen again to the commissioner making the pick? This is from the Bears Twitter account.
For NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select Caleb Williams, quarterback, Southern California.
Biggest pick. Here is the live reaction from the draft party from the Chicago Bears account. DJ Moore with his family. They are going crazy. It is a time. There is a vibe with the Chicago Bears right now. If only they didn't have to mess it up with their stadium time. Some good vibes. Let's continue on here as we take a look, and we are going to see if the pick is in. I am going to look right now, friends, for something for you guys. I am looking to see. Here we go. So, this is the Chicago Bears fans reacting to the pick. Here we go. So some big-time emotions for Chicago Bears fans as we are at pick number 5. And we want to thank each and every one of you for joining us here at this watch-along as we are watching the Chicago Bears make their picks as Caleb Williams is their first pick, the number 1 overall pick, their new franchise quarterback, and we await pick number 9 for the Chicago Bears. I'm your host, Mike Mercado. Thank you all so much. Thank you for making us a part of your nights. It really means the world to us, and we hope you guys are having a really, really fun time because I am doing this with you guys as we wait to see what is next for the Chicago Bears. Let's check right back into the 2024 NFL Draft.
1 to Chicago, Jaden Daniels. Went 2 to Washington. Drake May, 3 to the New England Patriots. Marvin Harrison Jr. Went number 4 to Arizona.
What's Arizona going to do with Kyler Murray? I mean, I think now they've invested in Kyler, you know, like in surrounding him with talent, or trying to now. I think, like I mentioned with Trey McBride and with Marvin Harrison Jr., it's a nice team. There is weapons there, but we'll see. Let's listen to Shefty really fast.
We'll have a choice about whether to take J.J. McCarthy or a highly rated wide receiver or offensive lineman. We also should point out that in recent weeks, both the Patriots and Vikings called the Chargers to see if they had any interest in trading Justin Herbert. The Chargers told them they're holding on to him, and they're making the pick now.
Unbelievable. People were calling for Justin Herbert, specifically the Patriots. I didn't hear the second team. That is unbelievable. And they said no. That is crazy.
Jim Harbaugh is the new coach. Here comes the 5th pick.
Let's see.
And 5th pick.
Here's the Chargers
pick.
In
the 2024 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Chargers select Joe Alt.
Okay.
Notre Dame.
And you have to protect Justin Herbert. This is what we were talking about when it comes to what the Bears might do at number 9. Changes the board a little bit because now the Giants don't have to trade up to get their quarterback. And I think that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a quarterback right here at number 6. And look at that, his dad. I had no idea. John Alt. I didn't know he comes from a lineage. Good for him. But if you're the Chargers, if you're Jim Harbaugh, yeah, you're doing whatever you can, especially when you had teams calling to try to trade for Justin Herbert, and you're like, no, we're sticking with him. We're going to get him protection. This is what I'm talking about. They made a trade, too. They traded away Keenan Allen. So, on some level, I thought maybe Malik Neighbors would go here. But now at number 5, with Joe Alt going there, you have the Giants at 6, the Titans at 7, and Atlanta at 8. So, the Giants are probably going to go quarterback here. I'm not sure what's going to happen with Tennessee. Tennessee might go with Malik Neighbors and with Will Levis at quarterback and try to keep that team that they have now. I don't know. I'm not sure what Tennessee is. Again, interesting, I think, chalk enough. But Atlanta obviously has Kirk Cousins. So, I think the dream of getting Odunze or Malik Neighbors might be slipping away for the Chicago Bears. So, let's see. Let me take a look at some mock drafts really fast. I just want to see something as team needs. Because, a lot of these, you're able to get a little better idea of what a lot of these experts think a lot of these teams should do. So, I just want to take a quick look in who they think should be going where. Give me 1 second, guys. Let's take a look. Let's do this together. Because the Vikings also still need a quarterback. Obviously, now that they don't have Kirk Cousins, where are they going to play in this? I think they're at 11. So are the Bears and Vikings in play together? Would the Bears be willing to trade pick number 9 for the 11th pick and a 3rd round pick? Or a 2nd round pick? I think it depends on who's going next. But just taking a look right now. So, yeah, there's still the tackle from Alabama. There's still Dallas Turner, who could be going to Atlanta. Tennessee might be looking for an offensive lineman, so that might be the case. So, I think here's the thing. All right, if right here with the Giants is the big moment, let's see if it's a quarterback.
Shefty, what are we expecting?
Let's listen to Shefty.
The Giants put an awful lot of work into quarterbacks, an inordinate amount of time. But they also know that they need wide receiver help. They need offensive playmakers. And that seems to be the direction they've gone in recent days, leaning more towards the wide receiver.
Interesting.
Much as they like J.J. McCarthy. He was the guy they would have taken. It sounds like they're going to go in a different direction.
Oh, wow.
Malik Neighbors is on the board. Rome Odunze is on the board. J.J. McCarthy is on the board. What should the Giants do?
Look, I don't think you ever pass up on a franchise quarterback if you believe that
this is where it's interesting, right? If you're a Giants fan, do you go with a stud wide receiver? Who's going to get him the ball? What are you going to do? Is it Daniel Jones? And I think Malik Neighbors and Rome Odunze are awesome. I think they're awesome for a certain fit, for a certain team, for certain teams that can get to that level, that need that type of talent. If you can't get a guy to get him the ball, what does that mean? I don't know. This is fascinating. We are finally at a pivot point. We're at a pivot point here in the NFL draft as we are watching along as the NFL draft continues here on the Sports Cubicle and Sports from the Couch. I'm your host, Mike Mercado. We are watching as the Chicago Bears make their selection. Caleb Williams is now a Chicago Bears after being selected number 1. The New York Giants pick is in, and we're waiting to see what happens here, because this impacts the Chicago Bears big time.
See the commissioner yet. We have a moment. Oh, there he is. He's now disappearing.
To answer your question, Randy, it's really simple. I'm taking Malik Neighbors.
Doing a quick air check, my friends, making sure we are all good to go. And I thank you guys so much for making us a part of your night. Here we go.
With the 6th pick in the 2024
Who's it going to be?
NFL Draft, the New York Giants select Malik.
There it is. So one of the top receivers is now off the board. And I think, unless something crazy happens, J.J. McCarthy is going to drop. He's going to get out the top 10 unless somebody trades up. I think, and I'm just going to throw it out there now, watch for the Giants to trade back into the top 10. I think that might be a thing. I think they might try to walk away this draft with Malik Neighbors and J.J. McCarthy. I'm just throwing it out there as wild speculation, but I think that might be the case. And the Tennessee Titans are now on the clock. Where would they go? So for Bears fans, what does this mean now? It all is going to come down to what Tennessee does here. If they need offensive line help, I think that's huge for the Bears because that will leave a wide receiver left on the board. I don't know if they're going to go quarterback. Atlanta has their quarterback. They just paid him in Kirk Cousins. They have Drake London, awesome receiver. Kyle Pitts, awesome tight end. Should be an awesome tight end. Will they go and get him a weapon? Will they go defense? They need defensive help. These two picks, this pick is huge. We're going to find out. And a shout out to my co-host, Paul Chivari. Shout out, Paulie. Thank you for joining in on the stream. We had a wonderful interview. We'll save that for a surprise for this Sunday locally here. And shout out to Paulie, his Raiders. I know he's waiting to see what his Vegas Raiders are going to do and hoping for a big moment for their franchise. And yeah, this is a fun day, I think, for most NFL fans. Is draft night where they're able to enjoy and think about all the possibilities, right?
Jamar is a three-position player who can play on the outside or play on the inside. And so here on the outside, he's just going to be able to line up and
I wanted to bring this up when we're looking at this talent right now is the months leading up to the NFL draft. We talked about this in the beginning of the show. And a lot of the noise that's made about these players, where they come from, their upbringing, their attitude, the generation they come from. And if you're watching this draft, it's a lot of chalk. It's a lot of mock drafts have been correct. There hasn't been a crazy surprise, a crazy run, a crazy trade. And this is a moment, a lesson, and this is something that we take to heart on the Sports Cubicle, that we want to have smart, fun conversations. And there are some interesting conversations. There are some interesting talking points about some of the stories you hear leading up to draft night. But we have learned that it's just noise. It's just nonsense. It's just certain people in front offices trying to make certain narratives happen, along with certain agents and family members trying to do the same. And when the moment comes to make the decision, the smart decision, it's more often than not the one that we all saw coming, the one that has the most common sense. Because that's what the NFL is. The NFL is, for successful teams, common sense. There is luck, there is risk, you have to be risk averse, there is a lot of X factors that go into it. But for the most part, not overthinking it is job security. And I think that's what we've seen in this draft specifically. There was a lot of noise. There was a lot of stories, a lot of drama. But you know what your eyes saw. You know what you watched every Saturday. You know what you've seen every Sunday. You've watched enough NFL drafts. You've done enough mock drafts. You've done enough fantasy leagues to understand that it's all noise and that none of it means anything. Because come draft night and come training camp, the only thing that matters is football. And what's disappointing is throwing mud and trying to diminish the names of these young people that are achieving a great feat. And by the way, a lot of them, most of them, won't have quote-unquote successful careers, let alone Hall of Fame careers. So I think it's important to remember that as we have these conversations, as draft years go on, and as this sport becomes bigger and bigger. But good, it's been an interesting draft to say the least. And shout out to this movie. This Planet of the Apes movie looks awesome. I think the first three of that trilogy, The Rise, Dawn, and I forgot what the other one's called. Awesome. They're all great. This one looks like it's gonna be awesome too. I can't wait to listen to that, to watch that one. But we are here and we are enjoying a wonderful time. I'm having a great time. Why don't I jump on social media and I want to take a look to see what the world is talking about, the sports world is talking about when it comes to the Chicago Bears. go to the top and see if... Okay, so here we go. This is interesting. This is via the Chicago Bears X account. Caleb Williams checking in at the draft party via hologram. Future. Let's listen to it.
Future fans right here. Say hello to Chicago.
What up, Chicago? Sunday.
All right, so you can't get that grin off your face, can you?
No, not at all. Not at all.
That's actually
So
pretty
happy,
cool.
so proud.
He's got to learn to say "da Bears." I mean, I know he already has down the patronizing or the humoring of the deep dish pizza, which he'll learn is not a thing for us. But that was actually pretty cool. Technology's scary, guys. Just keep AI away from me. So we are waiting to see what is going on here.
Technology.
We are still in commercial break. And why don't we do a quick reset, guys? Thank you all so much for joining us. I'm your host, Mike Mercado. We are here in a very special edition of the Sports Cubicle and Sports from the Couch, a live NFL draft watch-along as we are watching the Chicago Bears make their selection at number 1. They select Caleb Williams, and we are waiting now for their 9th overall pick. Some rumors going around that they will trade out of number 9. They have not traded up, so that rumor has been put to rest. But a draft that has gone very chalk. And now the Tennessee Titans for a sink are now in. And if we are watching our live together, we are in that Wendy's commercial as a sink to make sure we are all together. But Atlanta at number 8 is waiting on deck. And the Bears at number 9. I want to thank each and every one of you who has been watching us on YouTube, in the chat, leaving questions and comments. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube at The Sports Cubicle. I'm on Twitter at Mike M Media and on Instagram at Mike Mercado Media. Make sure you check us out every Sunday night on WCPT 820 right here in Chicago. Or if you missed the show, wherever you get your favorite podcasts at Sports from the Couch and on SoundCloud on WCPT 820. Check out the website, Heartland Radio Signal. And a shout out to each and every one of you who makes this possible. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you to each and every one of you for the early birthday wishes. Mwah, I love you guys. And a shout out to my amazing, lovely wife, Nicole Mercado, for letting this goofball have a quiet draft night as the doggies drive her nuts. And I drive you nuts. Mel's best available, Brock Bowers at 2, Odunze at 1, Dallas Turner, and my computer screen can't see the rest of those, but there's a bunch of talent left, so we're going to see how this plays out. But Tennessee, it's on the clock. Take us in. It's time to come on in and see what we got here. Big time. This is huge. Going to decide a lot for the Chicago Bears.
With the 7th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans select J.C. Latham.
There we go. J.C. Latham. So an offensive tackle going to Tennessee. And it might have been the break the Bears were looking for. We will see now. And we know it was between Latham and Oates who was going to go where, who was going to be the first offensive lineman pick. But both of them are off the board now. So the 2 offensive linemen did not fall to the Chicago Bears. With Atlanta now coming up, will they go for a defensive rusher? Will they go for some type of edge rusher, some type of defensive line help? Will they go for more weapons for Kirk Cousins as they've made an investment in Kirk Cousins? It's going to be, I'm very fascinated to see, will they be the team that trades out? Will we see a Minnesota Vikings trade up? Will we see the Giants trade back in to the top 10? Is Atlanta in prime position to get as much draft assets as they can as they try to rebuild their team, as they try to build around Kirk Cousins? Very interesting moment we're about to see right here. Why don't we listen into this to the scouting report?
Some great games and had a little hiccup. Everybody said he had a horrible game.
Hey, and I know what game you're talking about. You're talking about the Michigan game. He was pitching a shutout until that last play. And let me tell
And this is the thing for everybody who ever complains about offensive line being picked in the NFL draft. And it was definitely something more that happened years ago, but because it's not sexy. But the investment and the importance of your quarterback. To have a surefire starter for a decade at left tackle at left guard, at center, it's valuable. It's invaluable. How the peace of mind of having that safety for your quarterback is huge. So I'm fascinated to see what Atlanta does now. Why don't we listen in? Shepty's on the board. Here we go.
Despite signing Kirk Cousins, are considering a quarterback at number 8.
No way.
Now, J.J. McCarthy is on the board.
Oh my God.
PENIX is on the board. Bo Nix is on the board. And the Falcons are strongly considering
There's no way.
a quarterback.
There is no way.
See if they go ahead and make the first stunning pick of tonight.
Come on. Leave down the chat right now. Are the Falcons really going to pick a quarterback right now?
Thank you, JC. There's a rich history of Alabama offensive.
There is no way.
How surreal is it?
That is. Look it. Wow. I don't even know what to say. Like, I understood somewhat either going to try to trade for Justin Fields if you were Atlanta, to try to trade for Justin Fields, or to go all in with Kirk Cousins. But if you have the 8th overall pick and you're going to pick J.J. McCarthy, Bo Nix, or Michael PENIX instead of just trading down, which they will be there for you, it's a bold move, Conan. We'll see if it plays out. I don't know about that one, Chief. I mean, here's to say whoever they pick, not that it won't work out for them. It's you brought in Kirk Cousins. Again, I don't know. Like, Dallas Turner made sense to me going there. Oh my God, if it's J.J. McCarthy. If it's J.J. McCarthy, let's listen into this. I can't believe it.
And then I will look at the quarterback, the more palatable point of round 1. This, to me, is overdrafting a quarterback. If you take any of these guys, they'll pick number 8.
Yes. And again, it's not to say that they won't work out. It's what you signed Kirk Cousins.
$100 million guaranteed. They can't get to the quarterback. They haven't had
unbelievable. These guys have such great style. I mean, they all look like babies, but they have such great style.
They need pass rush. And if they don't address the pass rush now, when are they
from
going to do it? Especially with
the real monk from Bobby. Shocked. No trades yet. Yeah, I know. No trades yet. Very chalky. Very chalky is what we've been saying. It's what we've been saying, though, where don't listen to any of the noise, any of the drama, any of the rumors, any of the nonsense about the players, about the front offices, anything during draft season. It means absolutely nothing. None of it means anything because here we are. It's all been chalk. We are finally at the craziest moments of the draft where come draft night, Adam Schefter just told us Atlanta's really considering bringing in a quarterback. We are finally at the crazy moment of the NFL draft. And it's, of course, right before the Bears pick. So, I don't know. If they pick J.J. McCarthy, that is bold move. Here we go. Woo, the Dirty South. I don't know about that, guys. I don't know about this one.
Enough. They have to get to the quarterback, and right now they just can't do it.
I can illustrate it for you.
I cannot believe that they actually might be going to the quarterback.
3 years, that is the fewest in the NFL.
That is, but it goes to show, it's what I've been saying. This is what everybody has to understand. If you believe that the quarterback you're picking is that dude, the amount of value you get, the value of having that quarterback under a rookie contract to build a roster around it, is huge. It is game-changing. It is franchise-changing. So I could see teams wanting to take a risk, but here we are. Will Atlanta actually pick a quarterback?
With the 8th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Michael PENIX Jr.
Oh my God!
Quarterback, Washington.
Oh my God!
Wow. And so the first stunner. I love it.
First of all, congratulations to Michael PENIX Jr. Shout out to this young man going in the top 10. Awesome quarterback at Washington. Great games against Bo Nix. This is nothing against Michael PENIX. I think he has a chance to be a great quarterback too, right? You just signed, traded, gave all this money for Kirk Cousins. Let's listen to this. This is unbelievable.
Who hasn't been talked about in the big
wow.
three, the big 4. He's always been number 5 and on down, quite honestly. But when you look at his tape, man, and you think about the offense that Zach Robinson's going to run, that TJ Yates is going to put in.
That is unbelievable. That is unbelievable. I cannot believe what just happened.
Michael PENIX can do all that.
All right, so.
He can do it. Now, the question is,
okay.
Is he going to do it?
So we are here. We are going to stay here for the Chicago Bears pick at number 9. We're going to break down that pick. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back, recap everything that had happened leading up to pick number 9, anything that happened during the break, and we will call it a night, and then we will reset everything over the next few days on the Sports Cubicle and Sports from the couch. But the biggest shocker of the draft so far, the first shocker of the NFL draft, the Atlanta Falcons at number 8 have just picked Michael Penix Jr., and the surprise isn't that they picked Michael Penix, is they picked him not only at pick number 8, but after signing and giving a huge guaranteed contract to Kirk Cousins. Unbelievable. An unbelievable moment. A true draft moment. And, I mean, I shout out to Michael Penix. Well-deserved, but the Bears pick is in already. I don't think they could have done this any faster. I think they know who they want to go with. So why don't we get ready to see what the Bears are about to do. This is unreal. Let's listen in to see what they're saying.
John Robinson. Now they add Michael Penix Jr. Too high for my liking at pick number 8. Like I said, Dallas Turner from Alabama is still sitting there. Just to clean up one thing real quick. The Tennessee Titans.
Bears on the clock, friends.
The offensive line coach, oh, by the way, everybody, is Bill Callahan, one of the best in the business, right? So he will help J.C. Latham cut down on penalties. For this pick, though, for the Atlanta Falcons, they got to believe. In the Raiders, it was discussed always. The Raiders are.
Let me know, who do you guys think it's going to be? The Chicago Bears, the pick is in. They have made their pick. Who do you think it's going to be? Let us know.
Who would have thought Atlanta, though, would make this move? I didn't see it coming. I don't know who did. Michael?
Let me get to Shefty here quickly with the concerns about the injuries. What can you tell us?
Well, the teams are not concerned about his knees, not concerned about his shoulders.
Yeah, right. There was a lot of worry about the health of Michael Penix, but it looks like Atlanta didn't care about that. But let us know, guys. We are here, the final pick of our watch-along of the 2024 NFL Draft, as we are watching as the Chicago Bears pick Caleb Williams at number 1, and now are at number 9. Who will it be? We are going to see if it is Rome Odunze, if they trade down. But the shocker of the draft, we are all still reeling from it. Michael Penix selected number 8 by the Atlanta Falcons. But let us know fast in the YouTube comment section if you're watching us live. Who are the Bears going to pick at number 9? I am going with Rome Odunze. But it is going to be a huge moment. Let us see. The Bears might walk away with 2 huge studs, but the commissioner is walking up the stage.
Make the 9th selection. Here's Roger Goodell.
Here we go.
In the 2024 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select Rome Odunze.
There it is, friends. Wow, Rome Odunze has joined Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, and the number 1 overall pick, Caleb Williams, to the Chicago Bears. What a draft night for Ryan Poles. Let's listen in to draft night here on ESPN.
The past 2 seasons, and Melly is tough. Suffered a broken rib and punctured lung last September. Didn't miss a game and led the country in receiving yards with 1,604.
Love this kid. I said he was special early on tonight. Rome will burn you. Rome is 6'3" almost.
Let's listen to this big kid. Love the dependability of him. Let's listen in.
Catches in 2023, most at FBS. You talk about consistency. 5 or more catches in every game. The only game he did was Utah, and he had 2 touchdown receptions. This kid is like Marvin Harrison, and Marvin Harrison Sr. in terms of work ethic. He's humble. He wants to keep getting better and better. Michael PENIX Jr. had him to throw to. Also had Jalen McMillan and Jalen Pope, two really good players. You think about the Chicago Bears now with Caleb Williams and DJ Moore.
There it is.
Odunze, who to me, when you look back on it, I thought he was clearly the second best receiver, right there with Marvin Harrison Jr., slightly ahead of Malik Neighbors, but one of the best 4 or 5 players in this draft, and you get him at pick 8. When you're picking 8,
at pick 9.
Inside of 5, Rome Odunze was right there at that spot on my big board.
We've had 9 players selected. They've all been offensive players. Meanwhile,
very
I believe
interesting
we're about to have
fact
our
right
first
there.
trade of the night. Shefty.
Bringing the Minnesota Vikings,
there it is now.
Coming up to number 4.
The Minnesota Vikings have traded up to number 10. This is what we've been talking about. Rome Odunze taking off. The Jets wanted him, so they move out. JJ McCarthy.
The Minnesota Vikings at number 10 are now on the clock.
There it is. Oh, huge. This is a big turn, so we're going to stick around for that for just a second until that pick is made official. So let's go ahead and let's make official here. If you're watching the YouTube channel, you ready? The Chicago Bears select with the number 9 overall pick, wide receiver Rome Odunze. It has happened, and the Bears are now walking away with Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze. They are joining an offense that we've been talking about all night that has DJ Moore, who is one of the top receivers in the NFL. Keenan Allen now joins the Bears, one of the top wide receivers in the NFL. Dependable tight ends in Cole Kmet and Gerald Everett. 3 nice running backs in Khalil Herbert, Roschon Johnson, and now DeAndre Swift. You're plugging in these 2 rookies. You have yourself a top 5 defense. They need to address left tackle and center. I believe they have both those positions figured out from the moves they made last season and just this offseason. But they can use some depth at the offensive line. But without a shadow of a doubt, in my opinion, the Chicago Bears have walked away with a wonderful first round. I think they are the talk of the first round right now when it comes to value on their team. The road taken to get to this moment, to being able to pick Caleb Williams, and then 8 picks later to get Rome Odunze, these 2 talented, these 2 players that have been so highly touted, to get to that moment, to be here right now, I think it's huge for the Chicago Bears, and I think it's a slam dunk for them as winners. And we know draft winners doesn't mean anything long term. It's what happens on the field. But as of April 25th, as we leave the top 10, as we wait for the Minnesota Vikings to, what we believe, pick their quarterback after they trade up to get to the top 10, the Bears are leaving this Thursday night a winner. And that's all you can ask for if you're a Bears fan. That's all you can ask for any type of optimism moving forward for this Bears team. So we're going to stick around for a few more moments. And this is from, let's listen. We got some chats from a good friend, Paul Chivari, co-host Paul Chivari. Would have been nice time to pick offensive line or edge instead of wide receiver 3. And I can see if it was the top, like let's just say if it was Joe Alt, right? If he was still there. I agree with you. I think at 9 you can make the argument of why you need an edge rusher or offensive lineman. But if the idea of the NFL draft has always been best available, Rome Odunze is head and shoulders the guy who is scouted higher, is just it's just more valuable at that point, at number 9 for what you need. In a dream scenario, I agree with you. What they need most help with is offensive line. That is what this team needs now. But if they think that bringing in Bates and having, I believe it's, I'm spacing on his name right now, but believing you have your left tackle taken care of, then that's just their mentality right now. So I can see why they would go with Rome Odunze in that point. But I agree with you. This is from Bobby, A+, draft grade, the Bears. I agree with you. I think just, meaningless grades, right, for the draft because it's just a draft. But I think an A for them overall. And from fellow co-host Devin Tingle, got the 2 guys they wanted. Let's hope they don't F it up. It's the NFL. More than likely, they're going to mess it up. But I think if you're going to mess it up, they made the right picks to mess up. They didn't mess up that. They made the right picks. Let's listen in. It's got to be J.J. McCarthy, right? What do you guys think? It's got to be J.J. McCarthy.
There's only a 19% chance he would still be available here. Meanwhile, the Minnesota Vikings have never taken a quarterback in the top 10. The highest quarterback they've ever taken was Dante Culpepper at number 11.
Interesting. I never realized that.
But Adam Schefter telling us they've traded up here for a quarterback.
It's going to be J.J. McCarthy. And him now being that pick, very interesting for them.
They're going to take probably J.J. McCarthy. Why? Because this kid went 27-1 as a starter. Talk about intangibles, talk about competitiveness. Josh Allen-like. He was stressed to 1/3.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. This has been a lot of fun. I hope you guys are enjoying the Chicago Bears selecting Caleb Williams at number 1 and at number 9, Rome Odunze. Great conversation being had, great questions, whether or not they should have picked an offensive lineman, an edge rusher, or if they should have traded down, should they have traded up, what the possibilities of them succeeding, what it is to have the expectations and hype. But these are going to be conversations we're going to be having for weeks to come as we get rating for rookie, training camp, and everything that happens throughout the summer in the NFL season. But a big moment coming up right here. We're going to see how it plays out. It's got to be J.J. McCarthy. I think we all agree it's got to be J.J. McCarthy. I think everybody expected him to be in the top 10. Some were expecting him to be in the top 4. I think Bo Nix has a lot of value. You know, if you're shout out to Paul Chivari, me and him mentioned it, that if the Raiders were talking about moving on from O'Connell and getting a quarterback, I think Bo Nix has a lot of talent, and he would be interesting. He's the guy that everybody's now waiting for. Now that we assume that J.J. McCarthy is about to be picked, so we're going to see right now as the commissioner comes up. This is from Devin Tingle. J.J. McCarthy, a.k.a. Mac Jones 2.0, makes me feel confident the Bears won't be in last place in the North. Yeah, that's a good point. But think about that now. I want to make that point. The NFC North, very interesting. Now that we're about to see what happens in number 10, Jordan Love in Green Bay, Jared Goff in Detroit. Now you have Caleb Williams in Chicago. And will you have J.J. McCarthy in Minnesota? Interesting quarterback play in the NFC North coming up in this next season. Shout out to good friend Austin. Thank you for joining us, buddy. The only Cleveland fan I like.
And thank his family and TAPS.
Cleveland Guardians fan, that is. Never a Browns fan.
Which offers care to those grieving the loss.
Listen, don't you just love it what the NFL does a bunch of community work, yet will beg for billions of dollars for a stadium and kill their players and all that fun. Isn't it just wonderful? Don't you just love the full ham-handedness of it?
With the 10th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings select
J.J. McCarthy.
There it is. J.J. McCarthy from Michigan is now heading to Minnesota. So here's my question. We talked about the divisional play, right? The quarterback's now playing the NFC North. Why did Jim Harbaugh hide him? Why, if you have what is now a top 10 quarterback selected in the top 10 in the NFL draft, why didn't you use him? They used Caleb Williams. They used Michael Penix. They used Bo Nix. They used Drake May. Hell, they're going to use Arch Manning next year. We've seen it. Why didn't they use J.J. McCarthy? And I know there's a certain way Jim Harbaugh coaches, but when your quarterback is undeniable, when he's that dude, you find a way to work around it. Why didn't they do that? Can he work out? Yeah, of course he can. It's the NFL. Crazier things have happened. But we know that this was the dude. That J.J. McCarthy was the guy that was going to rise up boards. That was a third rounder this past October, and now is a top 10. We all knew he was the big. You go back in old episodes, we all picked that this was the guy. But why wasn't him at Michigan? Did some great plays. But let's listen in.
Because J.J. McCarthy is a fantastic prospect. No, Michigan didn't rely on him and put games on his back week after week after week.
From Austin, wasn't Roman Odunze the guy that said he couldn't land a plane in an emergency and people clowned on him? Yes, and we all know because there's a part of me deep down that is just meatball enough to say I can land the plane, you know? But at least I have the wherewithal, the awareness to understand that that's full of crap. But yes, I think Roman Odunze was the one that they were clowning for that. Good memory. And from Paulie, Raiders are moving on from AOC. They brought in Gardner Minshew. It's time. When that stash hits your franchise, you know you've hit a next level. All right, guys. I hope you guys are all enjoying this NFL Draft Thursday, the first round. We have made it through the first 10 picks. And more importantly, if you're a Chicago Bears fan, the Chicago Bears selected Caleb Williams at number 1. And then at number 9, selected Rome Odunze. The craziest moment of the NFL Draft is at number 8, Michael Penix Jr. selected by the Atlanta Falcons. That's right, the same Atlanta Falcons that just gave a huge deal to Kirk Cousins. And then the Minnesota Vikings traded up to number 10 to get J.J. McCarthy. So we are going to go ahead and take a quick break. And we are going to play a little bit of our interview with Robbie Gould. And if there's time, maybe a little bit of the Andrew Ziblis interview. But we're going to come back and wrap things up. And we're going to talk about any craziness that happens while we were on break in the NFL Draft, as the New York Jets are on the clock. And we are going to catch up to any comments you guys may leave. So please take a bathroom break, go get some food, another beverage, and we'll be in the comment section below. But we'll be right back as we are here. And a wonderful, huge moment in Chicago sports and for other NFL teams, as we are doing a live watch along of the NFL Draft as the Chicago Bears make their pick at number 1, at number 9. At number 1, Caleb Williams, and at number 9, Rome Odunze. We'll be right back. And a shout out really fast to Bobby. Great show, brother. Thank you for joining us, and thank you all for the support. I love you guys so much. Mwah. Have a quick break. Go get some food. Go get some drink. We'll be back as we are going to recap and close down shop here on the Sports Cubicle. We live watch along of the 2024 NFL Draft. We keep things rolling here on the Sports Cubicle. I'm your host, Mike Mercado. He's the one. He's the only. He's Devin Tingle. And Devin, as a proud member of the District 214 family, as a reluctantly proud and excited former Elk Grove Grenadier, we have an amazing show, an amazing time coming up. Dev, what do we got?
Mercado, it's getting harder and harder to figure out how to introduce our guest. I could just say Chicago Bears legend. I could say 18-year NFL veteran. I could say the Bears all-time leading scorer. But for now, I think I'll just say he's the head coach at Rolling Meadows High School. He's number 9 in the programs. He's number 1 in your hearts. He's Robbie Gould. Robbie, thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
Yeah, thanks for having us, guys. I appreciate it. And sorry about the Elk Grove Village thing. No big deal. We'll take it easy on you guys.
I really appreciate that because they never took it easy on me in my 4 years. So the first time will be the next time. Okay. I really would appreciate that.
Yeah.
Coach,
I will tell you this. I did have a nice conversation with our head coach yesterday. So you guys are in really good hands. He's awesome. I love his vision for the program and excited to compete against those guys.
Well, I could tell you my household and a bunch of my friends are going to really appreciate that. I don't think they're going to hate you as much now. They can never hate good old number 9. What are we talking about? All right, Dev, what do we got for our awesome guest today? Go ahead, bud.
Yeah, everyone loves Robbie Gould. So, Robbie, I guess my first question is, in December, you announced your retirement from the NFL. And about 2 months later, you're back on the football field just from the sideline. I guess what made you go from playing football to coaching football and getting you back on the field?
Yeah, well, I was coaching another high school here locally, fell in love. I coach my kids. I have 3 boys. They're really young. And I fell in love with coaching. I think one of the most unique experiences that I've had in my career is, somebody that has coached me along the way has always made an impact on my life. So Football is a part of who I am, but it's also an opportunity for me to be able to give back. And I think give these kids an opportunity at Rolling Meadows High School to understand what they could do as a group. And to me, I think if you can make an impact on a young person's life, and shape them in a way that they realize how great they can be, that's why you get into coaching.
Somebody like you who has made Chicago and Illinois your home, even after all your travels, and your family is now rooted here, and it's so beloved within the community. And I wonder, what do you see in Illinois football? I know you've talked about how amazing Chicago is and your family, but now that you're coaching and you've seen the talent that goes through it, and we always talk about Texas and California and Florida, what have you seen about Illinois football, the kids, the student athletes, the families they come from? What do you see about Illinois athletics that really just took something of your heart?
Yeah, I think if you look at kind of the history of people playing at a high level or any level, really, there's a lot of great players who played, whether it be the private Catholic league or whether it be the public leagues. You can see a lot of the MSL teams. They have a lot of guys who are going to play Division I. They're going to, Division II programs. And I think, sports teaches kids sportsmanship. They teach them values and core principles of being better people, and giving back into the community. And to me, like, that's what's most important. And secondarily, I would say this, there is a very competitive level of football that is played in Illinois. And I think it's going to be fun to be a part of that. It's going to be fun to watch our program grow. And obviously District 214, which you're really familiar with, has some really good football programs amongst them. So to be able to compete against some really good talent is something that, as a competitor, I can't wait for.
Yep.
Yeah, Robbie, as our one co-host isn't here, Paul Chivari, he's a guy who's really big in the...
Paul slept in. He's sleeping in today.
Always. He's never ready for 2-a-days, coach.
Yeah.
He had a train to catch this morning, the nerve of some people. But he's very big in the high school football. And we all know Illinois, just as a state, has a lot of great high school football programs. I guess my question is, what made you, choose Rolling Meadows High School to go coach at?
Well, first of all, it's close to home. Second of all, if you watch, the interview process for me was pretty long, because I wanted to make sure that I went through and understood everything about the program to see how big of an impact I can make. The kids are gritty. They're physical. You can tell they love playing football if you turn on their film. Also, I think the community as a whole is super supportive, and it's great to be able to have that kind of atmosphere when you're walking into a place, because you want the community just as much as the student body and the administration, which has been amazing to work with and very supportive. So to me, there's a lot of boxes that were checked on, being able to run a football program, but also, listen, guys, this isn't about 100% about football. It's about kids. It's about growing individuals into better human beings. And to me, I just felt very comfortable with the fact that the administration in this school and this community, we're going to be able to provide that for the kids. And that's why you coach high school sports.
So, Robbie, obviously, when we're just day-to-day having the segments, I mean, you're a professional. You've done the 1000 and all the down the dial. You know the sports segments. And, so I sometimes wonder about the youth and them coming up through the TikTok era, the Instagram Reel era, and how much pressure are on some of these kids that are going through the high levels of high school to college football to National Football League and dealing with everything that comes with it. And somebody like you talked about, this is more than on the field. For you, where you've experienced, you were in the league forever. You saw all the age groups come and go. You saw all the trends come and go. How much of it for you was that like a Batman in your utility boat type of moment, saying, I've seen it. I can help these young student athletes, no matter their level of skill, to deal with pressure, bullying, dealing with achieving your goals, failing and trying to get back up, all the things that you saw in the locker room day to day?
Well, what do you mean? You guys never tweeted I stink whenever I miss a field goal or something? I get it, boys. I get it, Yeah, I mean, listen, like those responsibilities as a head coach, I think it's about instilling confidence in our players to learn how to win. And also is about learning how to deal with failure, which is inevitable. But I think more importantly, you hit the nail on the head with, my experiences as an athlete will be able to resonate with these kids, and these kids are going to teach me too, right? Like I want them to have ownership in the team. I want them to have ownership in kind of our traditions. I want them to have ownership in how we operate, because I think that buy-in's very critical. But I do think that those experiences that I have will be able to resonate with the kids to be able to get the most out of them. But more importantly, you talked about me transitioning out of football. At some point, sports are going to end, and our kids are going to be students first and athletes second. And to me, your education is going to carry you way further than any ball you kick or throw or catch or whatever. So to me, I think it's just instilling in them the principles of having success long after whenever sports is finished, whether it's at 40, whether it's at 21, whether it's at 25, who knows? But the reality is, at the end, we are going to be students first.
Yep.
Yeah, so Robbie, I do want to touch up a little bit on what you just said there about how the kids are going to be teaching you along the way from playing on the professional level yourself. Is that relationships you had with some of your coaches back in the day? Like I'm assuming going back to your playing days, you found coaches that worked and coaches that didn't work, and that probably is going to, I guess, help. What's the word I'm trying to say? Influence how your coaching style is?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not a yeller. I'm going to be a motivator. Are we going to coach them hard? Absolutely. But there's always going to be a why to what we do. Because if there is no why and they don't understand the why, then frankly, it's busy work, and I don't like busy work. And then I think from coaching perspectives, I've been able to see a wide different range of coaches, and they've definitely shaped me as a person, but they've also shaped how I'm able to communicate with these kids. And also trying to get a 5-year-old to hit a baseball or to run a football in the right play on the card. All of that helped me prepare to become the best coach I can possibly be for these kids. And I'll use those experiences to definitely shape how this program works moving forward.
Just another minute or two with the new head coach of the Rolling Meadow Mustangs. He's Robbie Gould.
Listen, you say that pretty excitedly for an Elk Grove guy. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate the enthusiasm.
I'm gonna hype you up. Look, we may never have gotten that W against you, but I'll take this as a side W for us. All right, Coach. Thank you.
Why the mini W?
Yeah, just a minute. We'll let you go in just a few minutes. But I wanted to make sure that everybody is supporting you guys, supporting District 214. There's a lot of great Illinois high school football, and I think you're doing a great job of spotlighting that, and more importantly, spotlighting these awesome student athletes. And I kind of wanted to get your opinion on this because there's two young quarterbacks that are in the news right now that are not much older than the kids that you're going to be coaching. And if you're Justin Fields or Caleb Williams, how do you handle all this noise, all this stuff that's going on in today's day and age, in today's world where there's speculation, everybody has an opinion, and up until April 25th, we don't know what's going to happen. But two young people dealing with that, how would you handle that in their situation?
Well, listen, you can only worry about what you can focus on now, right? You learn from what happened yesterday. You prepare for the future. The future is never given. So, can any of those guys know where they're going to end up? No. All they can worry about is preparing for what they have to do, the upcoming season, the upcoming draft, pro days, whatever that may be for them. But just make sure that their feet are present with where they're at.
All right, I got to put, what are they going to do?
Well, one of them is going to go to the draft, and then one is going to figure out what's next. So
he's a pro.
Again, it's everybody has a different journey, including these kids in high school. And it's just a part of their story. And again, can you grow from those experiences of learning what you went through, to not make the same mistakes twice, or to grow from an experience that you had? I will tell you that both of them, from an athlete's perspective, are going to be very, very motivated. It'll be fun to watch both of them play this year.
How excited are you for the summer? How excited are you for 2-a-days? How excited to get kids on the buses and into the dorms, and to get those cleats onto those rubber tires that are those fields back from old dusty colleges?
Yeah, we're excited. There's a lot of work that needs to be done yet. We're going through the schedule. We're working on our first game, which is in Pekin, Illinois, 2.5 hours away. So we're worrying about, hey, when are we leaving? What are the kids going to eat? Is there water and Gatorade on the buses? So there's some logistical things we're going through. But at the end of the day, like, the best part about it is just being around the kids. And I can't wait for that opportunity and get started and doing what I love is football. And, it'll be a fun season. I'm looking forward to it. And I can't be more excited about the staff that we're putting together. I can't be more excited about the support I've had from everybody in the community. And, hopefully our kids will take the responsibility of what they need to do as leaders in the community and in the school. And, hopefully you guys see a really good product on the field come Friday nights.
Dev, last one for Coach.
Yes, Robbie Gould. I was doing a little bit of research, and I heard there was a rumor that you said if Jimmy G is interested, you'd make him your offensive coordinator. I'm just saying, do you have any could you give us a tease on who your defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator might be, or is that you want to keep that secret?
Well, we're keeping the same defensive coordinator. Odie's been an amazing asset to the Rolling Meadows, not only high school, but the kids in the program for 25 plus years. We have the offensive coordinator position out for application, which we're going through. So we'll know more there eventually. But I think just from, the community, the volunteers, the outpouring of support that, the LinkedIn resumes to the social media posts, to whatever, wanting to be a part of our program is pretty special. And we're going to do what's best and right for the kids.
I'm telling you, if you bring in Jimmy G as your coordinator, that's too much. Now my excitement is
Jimmy
done.
G
Okay?
is an alumni of this high school. We'll have a position wherever he wants to do. So if he wants to draw up a play and we need to call in the red zone for him, we're going to do that, right?
Too much, Coach. That's too much. All right.
Whatever he wants. I love Jimmy G. So I just wish I had his hair. But anything for Jimmy and his family. I know they're. I'm really close with them and thankful to have him as an alumnus here, and probably might be the greatest football player to ever come out of Rolling Meadows. And to me, that says a lot about the volume of kids that have come out, but it's also the traditions of this program.
Listen, my cousin and my brother still talk about it to this day, playing against Jimmy G at Oak Grove Rolling Meadows right before he went on to college. So this is why it's exciting, because it is a family up there, right, Coach? Like District 214, these teams, and whether you're in the East or West, it's always Conant to Rolling Meadows. It doesn't matter. There's a lot of great football, but you're, always going to be number one in our hearts as the kicker for the Bears. But now to see you grassroots here in Illinois, in Chicago, and to see you being part of this, it's awesome to see you in the community. Coach Robbie Gould, that's a great ring to it, my friend. Thank you so much for making time for us here on the Sports Cubicle with Devin Tingle, myself, Mike Mercado.
Thanks for the time, guys. Appreciate it. Great talking with you.
And we keep things rolling here on the Sports Cubicle and Sports from the Couch, a very special edition of the Sports Cubicle and Sports from the Couch, as we watched along as the Chicago Bears made their number 1 and number 9 overall picks in the 2024 NFL Draft. I'm your host, Mike Mercado, and they selected at number 1 with the number 1 overall pick from the University of Southern California. It is the USC Trojans, Caleb Williams. Former Heisman winner Caleb Williams is now the franchise quarterback for the Chicago Bears. And then at pick number 9, Odunze, one of the highly touted, highly scouted wide receivers, fell to them at number 9. And a huge moment to talk some draft. Michael PENIX, selected number 8 by the Atlanta Falcons. And the Minnesota Vikings traded up to number 10 to pick J.J. McCarthy. And a quick note as the draft continued, as we were at our little break, a quick tracker. Bo Nix going number 12 to the Denver Broncos. It's going to be interesting to see what Sean Payton does with Bo Nix. I mean, he's got the body frame. He's got the arm. We'll see if this Oregon quarterback can do what the other Oregon quarterback in Justin Herbert is doing in the NFL, if he can do that for the Denver Broncos. And Paulie's Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders, got a huge steal. In number 13, Brock Bowers is the tight end for the Las Vegas Raiders. This is from Paul. I like the pick. Curious as to what happens to Michael Mayer now. And that's true. He was good. Obviously, I think in today's NFL, especially if you don't like the quarterback you currently have, or depending on what veteran quarterback is going to play, because we know in all NFL locker rooms, all your quarterbacks are going to play. Maybe you try to protect them by having the security blanket that is a really good tight end, and you already have Devontae Adams. Now you lost Josh Jacobs, but I could see why, just having that type of talent, the potential that Bowers is, like, that is a steal for the Vegas Raiders. So good on Paul and his team for having a nice pick right there. But we will be recapping the rest of the NFL draft next week as it comes to an end and throughout the rest of this edition of the Sports Cubicle. But I think what we should do right now is take a second to talk a little bit about, and this is for all the people who are listening, what's going on with the Chicago Bears and their stadium. We'll recap the draft as we close up shop in just a little bit. But I just want to take this second to talk about the NFL stadium situation going on here in Chicago. So if you've been following us here in the Sports Cubicle, we've had guests on. We've been lucky enough to talk about this conversation with awesome people about what's going on with stadiums and the sales pitch that is given to citizens of counties, of cities, of states on why they should be fronting the bill for these multi-billion-dollar complexes that they have no say in what happens to them. And the Chicago Bears, their ownership group, their president, the mayor of Chicago, all stood in front of the city, of every citizen of the state, and begged for money after showing what is admittedly an awesome rendering. Here's the truth of the matter. I've seen awesome trailers to terrible movies. I've heard great singles on terrible albums. The question wasn't going to be if the renders were going to look nice. AI can do some pretty amazing things. There's interns that can do pretty crazy stuff on Final Cut Pro, movie editors. That was never in question. What's always been in question is what was going to be the financial burden on the citizen, on the residents of Cook County, of Chicago, of the state of Illinois. And if it was anything other than you'll pay for your season tickets, you'll pay for your merchandise, there might be some infrastructure stuff that will benefit everybody 365 opposed to only 9 games a season. Okay. You're asking for nearly $2 billion. Your ask, your rough guesstimates, your sales pitch says stadium will cost 4 point something. 4.5 billion, right? Let's just say that. Let's be conservative, 3 billion. You still owe $600+ million on the renovations you begged for, you lobbied for, you got for the stadium you want to leave, for the mistakes you've made. There is a weird irony, a weird problem, disease the sports fan has to deal with in Chicago when it comes to owners being buffoons, imbeciles in building their stadium. Because it's not just one, multiple stadiums. Jerry Reinsdorf, at what he did at Old Comiskey to New Comiskey, that it became U.S. Cellular, that it became Guaranteed Rate. Having to redo the new stadium with renovations because he messed it up the first time. Then that Alcatraz, that monstrosity that you call Soldier Field now, the spaceship that landed in the Roman Coliseum. You just spent $200 million on land in Arlington Heights, and the reason you don't want to deal with them anymore is because you're not getting enough tax breaks that the tax money that they're asking for is going to go to the school district. No, your answer is to go in front of the city, the citizens, the fans, the consumer, the taxpayer, and with the priests, invoke God's name to beg for money. That's what the Bears did. That was embarrassing. That was embarrassing the night before a huge night that Caleb Williams and Roman Odunze have joined the Chicago Bears. And an offseason where Ryan Poles has done an amazing job building this roster. This is nothing on the players, on the drafted players that are going to join this team, the rookies that are going to sign undrafted deals, the veterans that are going to join this team come training camp, the coaching staff. even the front office when it comes to the general manager, the people who are the scouting department, the video department, all of them. This is nothing on them. This is from Kevin Warren and every McCaskey that's involved, and the mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, who, yeah, I was very high on and super disappointed on the water carrying that he has done. It makes no difference where the Bears play, whether it's Arlington Heights or Chicago. They will always be the Chicago Bears. How many teams in the NFL play in the city they're named after? Yeah, the list will surprise you. Makes no difference. In today's day and age where the Kansas City Chiefs can't get public money, the Bears, Jerry Reinsdorf specifically, but the Bears have some nerve to be asking for that much money. The way that they're asking for that money, and for the history that they've had, for the product they've delivered. It was an embarrassing moment. And I just wanted to make sure that we don't lose track of that, because this was an exciting night. Caleb Williams, Rome Odunze joining the Chicago Bears was exciting. But let's not lose track on the stupidity that we saw from Kevin Warren and the Chicago Bears. But let's go into something exciting as we close up shop here on the Sports Cubicle and Sports from the Couch, as we got to see the Chicago Bears select. We watched along live to the 2024 NFL Draft as the Chicago Bears selected number 1 and number 9. At number 1 selecting Caleb Williams, and at number 9 selecting Rome Odunze. And I think, just to wrap things up, a very good draft for the Chicago Bears. A lot of optimism, a lot of hype, a lot of excitement. Social media, Bears fan, Bears Nations, super excited. I think NFL fans, super excited. I think if you're looking for an optimistic view of this night, of the future for the Chicago Bears, taking away what we saw about the stadium, and even then, the idea of having a beautiful stadium still seems pretty cool. They are a 7-win team that now has a top tier, one of the best top tier receiving rooms in the NFL. A good running back room, top 5 defense, a offensive line that they feel that they have shored up. And now you bring in Rome Odunze and Caleb Williams at number 1. There's a lot of optimism. There's also going to be a lot of pressure on the Chicago Bears team. There's a lot of talent in the NFC North. And Bears fans and this Bears team are going to find out very quickly that they're not going to surprise anybody on their schedule. They're not going to shock any team. They're not going to come out of nowhere. They're going to get the best shot from everybody they play. Caleb Williams is going to get the best shot from everybody they play. Every defense that comes in is going to give them their best shot. Every offense that comes in is going to give them their best shot. It is not going to be easy for the Chicago Bears. But this is what you play for. This is what you want. This is what you need if you're a franchise, if you're a fan. You need this. You need to be in the middle of it, in the thick of it. You need to be competitive. And tonight, the Chicago Bears took their first step in that situation to become a real player in the NFC North. And this roster, the way this roster has been put together by Ryan Poles, and the talent that's there, the question now becomes, and it's been the question since day one, what will Matt Eberflus and Shane Waldron bring to the table to nurture, grow, develop, and win with Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears team? I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us on this watch along. It was so much fun. It was such a great time. This is something that we want to do every once in a while for big moments like this. We will be recapping the rest of the NFL draft as the weekend goes on. And you can catch us every Sunday night on WCPT 820, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. in Chicago on the airwaves. It's the Sports Cubicle with Mike Mercado, Devin Tingle, Paul Chivari, and Dan Marver. If you missed any one of our episodes, go to WCPT 820 SoundCloud, or we go on the entire universe, wherever you get your favorite podcast, on Spotify and on Apple at Sports from the Couch. Of course, we're on YouTube. Subscribe to us on YouTube at The Sports Cubicle. I'm on Twitter at Mike and Media, Instagram, Mike Mercado Media. And we just want to thank you all so much for all the support that you've been giving us over the last few months, the growth that we've had on the YouTube channel, on Spotify, on Apple, all the support for the book, Lucha Dog, which is coming really soon. We're going to have some news about that. Please make sure you're visiting us at luchadog.com. All the support you guys have given us has been amazing. And thank you all for the early birthday wishes. I want to thank you all so much. Please enjoy the rest of round 1 of the NFL draft. We want to thank you all so much for making us a part of your night. Please be safe and take care of each other. Have a safe and wonderful NFL draft weekend. Enjoy the NBA and NHL playoffs. Enjoy Major League Baseball. Enjoy all the WNBA talk. Enjoy being a sports fan. It is some great times. Thank you to my amazing wife for holding down Casa Mercado as we were here in the Mercado Airwaves studio taking care of business with each and every one of you as the Chicago Bears have their new franchise quarterback as they selected with the number 1 overall pick, Caleb Williams, and then just a few short picks later, land Rome Odunze. Thank you all so much. Please enjoy the rest of your night. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. We will see you next time here on the Sports Cubicle and Sports from the Couch. I'm your host, Mike Mercado.